What's up everyone? Welcome to another video, and in this one I want to share with you how you can make your home office awesome. But more specifically, 5 things you can keep in mind if you're looking to revamp your current home office or if you're looking to start completely from scratch and make your dream space. So let's get right into it. This video is sponsored by Trifo, and I'll be talking more about the product they sent me in a little bit. Now, the first thing that I do with any new space, and especially with this home office, was thinking about color scheme. The color scheme that you want to use for your setup is really important because that is going to dictate all the products that you buy, and it's going to make the whole process so much smoother if you lock in which colors you want to roll with. Now, I've broken down color scheme into 3 categories. That is base, accent, and textures. Now, for base, that really just means like the main color your setup will be or main color your room will be. In this case, for my setup, I used white as the base color, or that's what most of the walls are. Now, the second element to the color scheme is your accent color. And for this room, I decided to paint this one wall behind me Dolphin Gray by Benjamin Moore. As soon as you walk in, you see the gray wall, and it kind of anchors you to look at the gray wall and the artwork on it. And so that's a good thing. You don't want to walk into a room where that doesn't feel like there's really any like base or anchor to anything, because visually it just look like one empty room, especially if you don't have a bunch of stuff in it just yet. But also it just adds a nice contrast when you have an accent color. So that's why I chose gray and white as the base and accent color. And just another tip when it comes to painting your room with the base and accent color, you don't want to have a darker base color. So what do I mean by that? Well, this room is mainly white, but I don't want to make it mainly gray and then have a white accent wall. That would look a little odd in my opinion. So you always want to make sure your accent color, your accent wall is darker than your base color. And last but not least, on the color scheme, you want to make sure you figure out what textures and materials you want in your setup. So for me in this room, I have a lot of black metal and a lot of walnut wood. Those were kind of the 2 elements that I wanted to carry out as a theme amongst all the products that I buy, amongst all the things that I wanted to leave in this room as far as furniture and details go. It's kind of no different than when you're getting dressed for the day and you match your shoes with a certain color you're wearing in your shirt or with a watch, any of that kind of stuff. It's the same concept with a space. You want to make sure you're tasteful about it and not overly done, but it's really nice to have a consistent texture and material throughout your home office setup. Now, the next element to making your home office setup awesome is making sure that it's functional, or the functionality behind your setup. Now, the best way to explain this is that every product that you buy, every corner, every wall of your office space or your home office should serve a purpose, and it should be something or an area that you use on a regular basis, or else you're just kind of wasting space. And with this room, it's pretty small. Maybe a lot of you guys also have small spaces, so it's crucial that you maximize every square foot that you have in your room. So you'll notice in my home office, one section right here, it's the desk setup, and that's where I do all my work, where I spend most of my time. Everything is catered around the work mode. And then right behind me, I have a couch, and that's kind of my lounge setup. And the lounge setup and all the items around the couch contribute to kind of relaxing and winding down, and it's not really in the work mode. This section of my room is for storage, and so a lot of my gears here, my charging stations here, and everything here is pretty much functional because I'm regularly interacting with it. I'm grabbing stuff all the time, charging things all the time. The last section of my room is this closet, which I redesigned. I did a whole video on how I did that. I'll link it over here. But typically this closet is where I store my camera gear, my backpacks, my Pelican cases, and some of the boxes of things that I want to keep just in case I sell items later. But for the most part, all my bigger items that need to be stored are in this closet, and I also use this one shelf for, changing out my camera rigs or packing lenses, etc. So when it comes to designing your home office and you're buying new items, especially big things like storage or a desk or a couch, just make sure that all the things you buy are serving a purpose for you in the given space. You want to make sure that your whole room is being used and you're not just spending a ton of money for just your desk setup and then neglecting all the other sections of your room. The next step is to figure out lighting. I think lighting is really important when it comes to your home office setup, especially if you're working from home. So when it comes to lighting, the first thing you want to do is have a big primary light source. Now, behind me, I have a window, and that's my primary light source, but not every room is gonna have a window. I know some rooms don't have access to a big window like this. And so if you notice in the corner of my office, I also installed this huge kind of softbox light dome, which also introduces a lot of light in the evening. And so I'm always trying to emulate large light sources no matter what time of day it is, because I've noticed that I just work better when there's more light in front of me or in the space. And so that's pretty crucial. And the second thing is making sure that the light that's coming into your space is soft or diffused. Obviously, you guys see that there's a window right in front of my desk. A common question that I get is, isn't it annoying when the light is shining through and it's kind of blinding you? The answer is yes, but I have these blinds that I installed, so when it's too bright outside, I'll lower the blinds down and the light still comes in, but it's diffused and it's filtered, so it's not harsh. So you want to do something similar if you're deciding to put your desk near your window or if you have any direct sunlight sources. And at night, when I turn on this Aperture 120D light that I installed into the ceiling, I have this big softbox on it. And what this does is, it's no different than a sun coming through filtering shades. Essentially, this light is coming through this huge softbox, which creates this huge soft light source. And the last thing on lighting is to figure out your practical light sources, or lamps, little tiny things around the space that really make you feel more cozy, in my opinion. So you notice behind me, I have a floor lamp, I have a desk lamp. To be honest, they're not really doing anything like providing a ton of light in the space as the primary light sources, but it just adds a nice touch and it makes me feel a little bit more inspired when I see nice warm hues throughout the day or in the evening. Now, the fourth piece to make your home office setup awesome is to make sure you have your storage figured out. And more specifically, the things to keep in mind to not clutter up your space. I already told you guys I use the Husky chest and the closet for storage solutions, but more so from the mindset standpoint, I want to encourage you to not hoard boxes. This is huge because a lot of people are getting things shipped to them from online companies, or you're just ordering a bunch of stuff online and you get boxes, you get shipments, but you want to make sure you don't let those boxes stack up in your home office or in your space, because it'll make you feel super cluttered. And once you add one box, then another box shows up, and before you know it, you're drowning in a bunch of boxes that you need to break down. And this is one way to kill your productivity if you don't feel like your space is clean or it's spacious. The second thing is to assign a home to all your items. I talk about this in another video, but make sure that everything you own is assigned to a certain spot in your home office. Don't just like have things out and then just keeping things to keep them. You know what I mean? Make sure that they're tucked away in a spot that when you remove that item, you know exactly when you're finished with it, you're gonna put it back in that same exact spot. And this really helps with making sure you don't buy things you don't need. It helps you make sure that you know where everything is located. It just keeps most of your stuff organized if you assign a home to everything you have. I think there's a common misconception that when you have a space, you just need to fill it with things, right? You fill it with a bunch of stuff, a bunch of accessories, but honestly, you guys don't know this, but this room remained empty for a very long time when I first moved into this house with my wife. I kept it empty because I just didn't want to rush the process of buying a bunch of stuff. So when it comes to building out your home office, don't rush the process, you know, just because you see all these setup videos on YouTube. Be super intentional about every single item that you place in your room. Make sure it's something that you're proud to have, proud to own, or that you worked hard for, or it's something that just makes you happy to look at. Be okay with having empty spaces in your home office in the beginning when you're first building it out. Now, the last thing for an awesome home office is making sure that it remains clean and it's not cluttered. And there's a few things I want to share with you on how I keep the home office clean, how I maintain it. And the first thing is with vacuuming, or a robot vacuum cleaner that I have, which brings me to the sponsor of this video. And the sponsor is Trifo, and they were kind enough to send me their Lucy robot vacuum cleaner. This is an AI-based robot vacuum cleaner. It's super high tech. It has an app. Able to control no-go zones, to do certain sections of the house. It works on carpet, it works on hardwood, and we've been really enjoying this robot vacuum cleaner. It also has a mop and a vacuuming function. It's really easy to use and maintain the Lucy robot vacuum cleaner because it has a dock which it will go to automatically. You can start and stop it from your phone, from the app. And to clean out the tray, you literally just take it out and you empty the tray. It's super easy to use. Another crazy feature about this product is that it uses AI and sensors to make sure it doesn't fall off the stairs or to make sure it avoids obstacles or objects in the way. And it has a security function. There's like a camera in the cleaner that you can view for security purposes when the robot vacuum cleaner is being used around the house. Now, there's nothing wrong with just using a regular vacuum cleaner around the house, but it is really nice having something like this that can save you even an hour of your time from vacuuming all around the house and doing it automatically. And for me, even if it's just an hour that I'm saving, it's worth the money. So if you guys are interested, I will link it down below. And Trifo, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Some other things that I do to keep the space clean is I keep a microfiber cloth handy in my desk drawer. So I'll use this to like clean surfaces or clean my desk, clean my monitor. It's always nice just to have a cloth at your disposal. And also I'll often use compressed air. This is kind of something that I've just seen my parents use growing up all the time, but typically you can get it at your nearest like electronics store, or like some grocery stores even have it on the shelves. But typically I'll just use this to clean some of the dust that builds up on my desk, especially around the keyboard and around the speakers that I can't really get the microfiber cloth to go into those small nooks and crannies. So I'll use compressed air. And I know this is simple, but have a trash can with a lid in your home office. Don't just have an exposed trash can, because when you have an exposed trash can, things will just pile up in there, and before you know it, you walk in, it's like everything looks nice, and then boom, you have like a trash can with a bunch of stuff in it. So make sure you have a trash can with a lid on it. I have one that's small that just remains under my desk, and that's one way to make sure that no trash or that kind of small wrappers and papers and things sit on your desk. If you adopt these 5 things and keep them in mind, it will help make the process easier. At least these are things that I wish I would have known or heard about when I was first designing this home office setup. So make sure to think about the color scheme, the layout and functionality of the space, think about lighting, think about storage solutions, and how you plan to keep the space clean. Honestly, I don't even know where this video fits into. It's not really like a home office tour. It's more so just like tips on how to make a better home office setup. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. But other than that, if you are still watching this video, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, trying to get more subscribers so I can make more videos for you guys. And if you have any feedback or comments, leave them down below. Make sure to give the video that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.